The Chitrik Academy is dedicated in loving memory of Rabbi Tzvi Hirsh Chitrik.
Welcome to today's lesson. Today we are going to learn from Tashma, the line starts Yutan, until Amar Lei, which the line starts B'Yal Kagam, with the Rosh Tevis. Today we are going to make our final attempt to prove whether the halacha is like Abaya or Rava, whether Yish Madas is considered Yish, like Rava, or like Abaya, that Yish Madas is not considered Yish. We are going to prove it from the words of Rabbi Yochanan. Let's see what this is. Tashma, come and learn. Da'amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan said, Mishum Rabbi Shmuel ben Yitzadok, in the name of Rabbi Shmuel, the son of Yitzadok, Minayin Laveda. How do we know that if a person finds something, Sheshtafa Nar, that was washed away by a river, Shimuteres, how do we know that if someone finds an object which was washed away by a river, that he gets to keep it? That is what Rabbi Yochanan asks. So let's see this on our board. If Reuven had an item that was washed away by the river, and Shimon later on found it, so we say Shimon is allowed to keep it. How do we know this halacha? Dichsiv, because it says in a pasuk, we are not going to quote the pasuk. It says, by the mitzvah of Hashavas Aveda, of returning lost objects, it says, V'chein taseh lachamoirei, and so you shall do to his donkey, to your friend's donkey that was lost. V'chein taseh l'simlasai, and the same you should do to his garments, to his clothing that were lost. V'chein taseh, and so you should do l'chol avedas achicha, to all the lost objects of your brethren, of your brother. Asher tevad mimenu, which is lost from him, umetzasa, and was later found. From here we learn the mitzvah of Hashavas Aveda that needs to be returned to its rightful owner. Now the Gemara is going to explain that it says Asher tevad mimenu, that it was lost from him. So from the word mimenu, we learn out something special. We learn out, let's continue the Gemara, Mish avuda heimenu, something which was lost from him, only from him it was lost, umitsuya etzel kol adam. However, it's very common, it's very easy for other people to find it. In such a case, if a person finds something, he must return it to the owner. Yet yatsazu, it's to exclude this case of some which is washed away by the river, shavud mimenu, which is lost from the owner, from him. And it's not easy, it's not common for other people to find it. So in a case like this, where it was washed away by the river, generally when it's washed away, it's normally not found. It's normally lost. And in this case, Shimon found it, which was a rare occurrence. It's something which is washed away by the river, we generally do not find later on. So in such a case, the pasuk tells us, because it's not only lost from Reuven, it's lost from everyone as well, so even if someone would find it, they get to keep it. That is what Rabbi Yochanan has come to teach us. Now let's see how this is a proof to Abaya. So it's the P for the proof. This is the proof for Abaya. So, V'isura Dumya dehetera. Right now, we had learned a case where it's permissible to keep. Now, let's move over a little bit. In this case, where it's permissible for the person to keep, for Shem to keep it, it doesn't say that it needs to have a siman or does not have a siman. Seemingly, whether the item does not have a siman, or even if the item does have a siman that belongs to Reuven, Shimon may keep it. So this is a halacha when it's mutter to keep. Now the Gemara is going to say, it seems from this brayso that the same halacha will be, similarly, when it's asur to keep. Same way when it's mutter to keep, he's allowed to keep it, whether it has a siman or does not have a siman. Same way when it's asur to keep, it's forbidden whether there is no siman or whether there is a siman. This is what the Gemara is going to say now. Ve'isura dumya de teira. And when it's forbidden to keep, it has the same halacha as when it's permissible to keep it. Ma heteira. Just as when it's permitted to keep. Bein de'isba simin. Whether there is a simin, uvein de'leisba simin, or whether there isn't a simin, shara, we allow Shimon to keep it. We allow the finder to keep it. So similarly, af isura, so too, when it's forbidden to keep it, when you're not allowed to keep it, bein de'isba simin, bein de'leisba simin, asura. Whether there is a simin or there is not a simin, it's forbidden to keep. And tiyufta de Rava, this is a question on Rava. And the Gemara says, tiyufta, it's a very good question. And therefore, the hilchasa kavasei da Abaya, and the halacha is like Abaya, beyal kigam, which we'll explain what this means in a minute. First, let us see, why is this a question on Rava? Let's see. According to Abaya, it makes sense why it's mutter. The owner doesn't know where it is, and the Torah tells us in this case it's an exception that the finder gets to keep it because it is lost from everyone. That is what the pasuk teaches us. When is it going to be forbidden, according to Abaya? Well, if there is a simin, it's for sure forbidden because the owner will come claim it. This is in a regular case when it is, and other people can find it as well. And when there's no simin, Abaya will say, it's also going to be forbidden until we know that the owner has given up on finding it. Because Abaya holds that Yish Shalei Medas is not Yush, and therefore, until the owner gives up on finding it, the person who finds it must return it. So let's write this down. So according to Abaya, it makes sense. According to Abaya, everything fits perfectly, because he says, Yish Shalei Medas is Loi Have Yush. Loi Have Yush. However, according to Rava, when there's a simin, he agrees that it's forbidden to keep it because the owner will come claim it. However, when there's no simin, according to Rava, the person should be able to keep it. The finder should be able to keep it because obviously the owner is going to give up on finding it because there's no simin. Because he holds that Yush Shalei Medas have a Yush, and therefore there's no case according to Rava that if there's no simin, the owner will not be able to keep it. So from this halacha, this of Rabbi Yechanan, it proves that the halacha is like Abaya, the Yush Shalei Medas is not Yush and not like Rava. And this is the proof of this Gemara. Now, the Gemara ends off, that's a good question on Rava, and the halacha is like Abaya, b'yal kagam. What yal kagam is 6 cases where when Abaya and Rava are arguing, we paskin like Abaya. In all other cases, we paskin, we say the halacha is like Rava. What are these 6 cases? So let's go to the board. Here we have Yal Kagam. So let's just write this out. Yal, so each one of these letters represents a different case where the halacha is like Abaya. The first one is Yud, which is our case right here, which is Yush Shalei Medas, which we just proved that the halacha is like Abaya and not Rava. Let's give us a little more space. The second one is Eid, which is in a different Gemara. All the other cases are in different Gemaras, which is a case of Eid Zaymim. Then there's the case of Lechi, which is the Lamed. Lechi. So far we did the Yud, Ayin, and Lamed, the Yal, Yush Shalei Medas, Eid Zaymim, and Lechi. Now let's go to the Kuf. The Kuf is a case of Kiddushin, of marriage. The Gimel is a case of, it's called Giloi Das, by a get. So let's write Giloi Das. Its Gemara says it's Giloi Daita. That's what the Gemara calls it. And the Mem, even though it's a Shras Mem here, but it's a Mem, which is a case of a Mummer. Mummer. And this is Yalkagam. In all these 6 cases, Abaya and Rava argue, and in these 6 cases, halacha will be like Abaya and not like Rava. However, in all other cases where Abaya and Rava argue, the halacha will be like Rava. And this is the end of this lesson.